Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of March 7th, 2021. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams, along with our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury. And it's time for a history lesson. We are talking about, in honor of tonight's AEW's Casino Multiple Man Ladder Match, we are talking about the history of the ladder match. A gimmick match where the stipulation in its traditional form is to climb a ladder in the middle of the ring and retrieve an object suspended from above. Obviously, there have been several offshoots, several variations. We're going to get into the history. We're going to talk about some of our personal favorite ladder match moments or matches. Luke, take us down memory lane.
All right.
Give us the history of the ladder match.
The ladder match. The origin of the ladder match is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It was originated in Stampede Wrestling Organization, which was owned by Stu Hart.
Yep. Canadian Wrestling Territory of the Territory Days for our history fans.
The man who created the ladder match name was Dan Crawford,
Yep.
Who invented the ladder match as a way to blow off a storyline.
Yep.
The very first ladder match, I'm looking at my notes just in case you're wondering why I'm looking away from the camera. The very first ladder match was between Dan Crawford and Toru Kamada, where the object that was grabbed was a wad of money.
Yeah, it was a bunch
took place in 1972.
Yeah, which a lot of people get confused. They always think like the first ladder match, Hall and Michaels.
Correct.
But it's not. Technically, that's the first ladder match at WrestleMania. And while it's the first mainstream ladder match in the WWE, it's not even the first ladder match in the WWE.
It was popularized in Stampede several years later in 1983, where Bret the Hitman Hart took on Bad News Allen at the time, for also a bag of money.
Yeah.
There is footage of that on the network. The ladder was actually set. It was one rung ladder that was set against the rafters, and the money was sitting on the rafters of the building. So they had to lean it, climb it, and get the money.
Which the story was to fighting out of the ring to get to the ladder. It was very cool, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of well done.
Yeah, it was very well done for 83 for sure.
Yeah.
We stepped a few years prior to that. 1992, July 21st in Portland, Maine. We have Bret the Hitman Hart defending the Intercontinental title against Shawn Michaels in the very first recorded mainstream ladder match for the WWF that was an offshoot of just a taping to see how the match would work. Because
Bret Hart was actually the one who pitched the ladder match idea for Shawn Michaels and Scott Hall at WrestleMania.
Interesting note to that, the finish of the Bret Hart-Shawn Michaels ladder match was the exact same finish that Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels used that same year. No, the following year at WrestleMania 10 with Michaels coming off the ladder, getting hooked up in the ropes, and can't get out of the ropes.
Yeah.
It was the exact picture replica of that finish.
Well, and a lot of people don't know, but they beta tested that match, I think, 2 or 3 separate times at house shows as well.
Yes.
Where they were trying to work out the kinks in the spots they could use in a believable fashion, because, that used to matter.
Also, if you want to watch that Shawn Michaels-Bret Hart match, there's several ways to do it.
Daily Motion is probably your best bet.
Well, the network, for one, has it. But also, if you're a DVD collector, the Greatest Ladder Match DVD has it on there. The ladder match DVD.
I've got that DVD.
Also, the Greatest Rivalries Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels collection that come out, where they did the interview face-to-face.
It's on there
as well. It is also on there. I recommend that you check it out. I mean, like I said, if you've seen the Razor-Shawn match, it's the same finish. But again, if you want to be part of WWE history and you want to say you saw the first WWF ladder match, the only way you're going to do that is check that match out.
Yeah. Now, there have been ladder matches in every single major company since then. WWE, ECW, WCW, NWA. Actually, no, I don't believe so. Not in this version of the NWA yet. Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, all over Japan, Mexico, you name it.
Lucha
you can find them. Lucha Underground. Ladder matches exist.
Any backyard wrestling federation you come across on YouTube.
Been in a couple of those. So let's talk about some of our personal favorite ladder matches or ladder match moments. Because I think that personally for me, it's always been my favorite gimmick match. Like always been my favorite. And I'm a big steel cage guy and a big, hardcore fight guy, but ladder matches were always one of my favorite. And one ladder match that I think is, really great that a lot of people overlook is Christian Cage versus Kazarian.
Yes.
And I think it's like Destination X
or
Final Destination, or so it's one of their non-Bound for Glory pay-per-views, but it's Christian versus Kazarian. The winner gets a number 1 contender's title shot. and Kazarian won, which was Kazarian's first big win against a name, even for Impact, and going on to getting a shot at the heavyweight title. One of my absolute favorite ladder matches because while it's, when you think early days of TNA, you think about the X Division and all the holy shit spots, but their match was a very sort of grounded, realistic ladder match, but had some of those much more real moments in them. The catapult spot where Christian, instead of setting the ladder up, he sets it in between the ropes and just drives Kazarian upward into it. One of my favorite ladder match spots ever.
I've got a couple favorites. One that comes to mind, it had no build to it whatsoever for a pay-per-view. It was just kind of thrown together last minute. It was at the 2001 Royal Rumble, and it was Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit for the Intercontinental title. Those two men beat the hell out of each other with. But the two things that come to mind in that match was, one, Benoit goes for the suicide dive, and Jericho meets him with a chair on the outside of the ring. But the thing that really, really pops in my mind is Jericho, for the first time, puts the walls of Jericho on Chris Benoit on top of
straddling the ladder.
And when he lets him go, he falls, catches the top rope, and spills to the floor. Yeah. Jericho, of course, retaining the Intercontinental title. The other one that comes to mind for me that probably has a little bit more significance, if you know who I am, is the second encounter between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. Yeah. The reason I say that is because in ladder matches, the ladder is usually predominantly your weapon. It's used as a weapon. It's used as a third person. The day of SummerSlam 95, when these two men were to hook up, Vince McMahon comes to the back and says, "Ordinance for violence has been changed here. You can't use the ladder as a weapon." And of course, they're like, "What do you mean we can't use the ladder as a weapon?
Yeah,
it's a ladder match." And Vince is like, "Under no circumstances will the sports board allow you..."
So say that was the state, right?
Yeah. To use a ladder on the other person. So they literally had to build a ladder match without striking each other with the ladder. Yeah. And to be honest with you, it is every bit as good as the one from WrestleMania 10.
In fact, it showcases, just how skilled the two of them were at making people care about a ladder match without allowing the use of a weapon strike.
Two main spots out of that stick in my mind is Shawn Michaels and Razor have two ladders set up. Yeah. They're both climbing up them. Michaels super kicks Razor from one ladder off the other ladder, goes to reach for the belt. This is the other thing I was talking about. Grabs it, and it won't come down. Yeah. So he lets go of the ladder to yank it all the way to the ground, and the belt is so tight it slips out of his hands. Yep. He hits the ground. Ladder's still just hanging up top. Put all his body weight, jumped off to pull it down, and it just slid clean out of his hand. And you can see him. He kicks Razor Ramon's ladder that was still on the ground, pissed off as all get out, climbs up the ladder and legitimately grabs the strap and unhooks it. But at that time, with the restriction of not being able to use the ladder as a weapon in a ladder match at SummerSlam of all places, they killed it.
Now, of course, we've also seen, the idea of the King of the Mountain match, a reverse ladder match, where you had to get a pinfall, then climb the ladder, then hang the belt, then pull the belt back down. Very inventive. I think it's a little busy, but
it was definitely better than the reverse battle royal.
The reverse battle royal was awful. They stole that idea from you, actually.
Yeah, well, Actually, they did. They weren't the first ones to steal it. FCW stole it first. But
also, I think one of we have the TLC matches.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I would consider a TLC match.
It's not a straight ladder match, but they win with a ladder match win.
Sometimes.
Well,
I've seen them without stuff hanging too. So, I don't know if you.
TLC match was won via pinfall.
That was. Give me a second; it'll come to me. It was at believe it or not, it was at the TLC pay-per-view, the first one. There was no belt hung; it was pinfall.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah. And I've seen several other ones.
Well, then we're going to talk about the traditional ladder match format. Well, even then, the TLC matches competed in winning via ladder match format. Require
occasionally,
the first one and the following one, had objects hanged. They were won via ladder match stipulations with the allotment of
tag team ladder matches,
with the allotment of chairs and tables being used.
Maximus?
Yes, I feel like you guys are being a little remiss here. Haven't mentioned anything about the Hardy Boys Edge and Christian.
That's kind of what I'm getting to. Is
Well,
those
he's
matches
talking.
are
He's talking about the
Yeah.
tag team
No,
ladder match, not the
straight ladder
TLC.
matches.
They
Yeah.
Like,
put
yeah,
those
just
those
in
were the
general.
matches.
And even in singles competition,
Yeah,
those
Yeah.
4 guys, as
Kill
great as
it.
ladder
Yeah.
matches were, they put the ladder match on the map
Yeah.
the way that it is now.
Also, when we talk about ladder matches, we would be remiss not to talk about Money in the Bank.
I was just about to bring that up. My favorite spot ever from any Money in the Bank match, period, is the first
hold
one.
on.
Go ahead.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
I want to guess.
Go ahead.
Shelton Benjamin.
Yep.
Yeah,
Attaboy.
Shelton Benjamin running up the ladder and hitting that clothesline.
You know what my favorite Money in
Just
the Bank ladder
beautiful.
match moment is? Go ahead, see if you can guess it. I want to see if you can guess it.
Your favorite ladder match moment ever?
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Ooh,
It's a good one. I make fun of it all the time. It's such a good one.
Make fun of it.
Yes.
I'm not sure of that.
Shelton Benjamin climbing the ladder to jump
Oh
on
my
12
God!
fucking guys, and no one catches it.
Not only that, he fell from the 20-foot ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to the
It
outside of the
It was
ring.
the first. It was the 7-man. It was supposed to be 8 men, but somebody got pulled. I think it was Morrison, maybe.
Yep.
And he climbs the 20-foot ladder, dead center of the ring, goes for a plancha, and falls straight to the ground.
Falls in the middle of everybody. No one even attempts to catch him.
Man,
So good.
horrible. And then, honestly, one of my favorite just ladder matches, the Jericho, Shawn Michaels
Oh my God.
ladder match for the world title, and that incredible feud they had in 2008, where they literally just beat the
Oh,
hell
yeah.
out of each other with the ladder, man. So good.
Another ladder match, just with a very
Yeah, we're running low.
time. That made Jeff Hardy's singles career. Him and the Undertaker.
Yeah.
The Undertaker beat the fucking bricks off that boy in that ladder
Jeff
match.
grabs that mic. I'm still standing.
So good.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
good.
Well, guys, there you are. History of the ladder match. Some of our favorite ladder match moments. We would like you to let us know what some of your favorite ladder match moments are, and you can do that by sending us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at ProWrestlingTD. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ProWrestlingThrowdown. Like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below, and stay tuned because we have more matches, more stories, more videos coming your way.